IVM.
Paytm Money is India's largest investment platform with over 6 million users. The app has simplified mutual fund investing for millions of Indians. Based on a blog published by them on trends of how India invested in 2019, Paytm Money has investors from nearly 98% of PIN codes in India. The app is built for use by anyone, literally anyone, whether you have invested in mutual funds before or not. If you haven't yet, please download the Paytm Money app and check out all the cool offerings they have in store. Investing doesn't get any simpler than this. That's why our mutual funds के लिए भी Paytm करो. Folks, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. I'm your host Anupam Gupta, B50 on Twitter, and I hope all of you are staying safe. Well, we are recording this at the end of May when the lockdown is still going on. By the time this airs, maybe the lockdown is done and all of us are back to our work, but still our thanks to all the people who are at the front line battling this war for us. Thank you to all of them. Folks, this is a very, very special show for the topic. Now, we've had more than 245 episodes so far, almost 3 years into this podcast. But we've never approached the topic of savings as a standalone topic. We've done investments, we've done loans, we've done mutual funds, stocks, God knows. I mean, we've done crypto, we've done a lot of stuff. But the concept of savings is critical to personal finance. It's only when you save that you've got enough money to invest. And savings is also an attitude. There's a lot of thinking that goes behind savings. So to discuss this entire concept of savings and how a brand new app, which was launched during the lockdown, by the way, upSAVE. upSAVE is a virtual assistant for building savings habit. We're going to talk about the concept of savings on this savings special, and my guests are Sudhir Joshi, founder at upSAVE, and Namit Agrawal, mentor and advisor at upSAVE. So welcome, Namit, Sudhir, welcome to the show. Tell us a brief background to yourself and how you came about to start this app.
Sure. Thanks, Anupam. Good morning to all our viewers. Thanks for joining in. So my name is Namit Agrawal. I come with a lot of industry experience. Spent several years building product, doing product delivery. And me and Sudhir are connected through one of our previous organizations. And we were debating some of the challenges around personal finance. And I'm a big fan of personal finance. I've been dabbling into personal finance for several years. And as an extension of that, we were discussing some of the challenges in this space. And I was telling Sudhir how my parents set us up by inculcating good savings habit. And Sudhir started to share some of his challenges which he was facing. And we thought, this looks like an interesting area which people have not really thought about. And is a challenge which like two of us were facing on different sides. I, coming from a background where my parents were very sincere about savings, and Sudhir facing some of his own savings challenges, we thought that this is something which we are pretty sure that a lot of people in our age bracket and even younger than us are facing, and we started exploring the market at that point onwards, and we realized through our discussion with several people that yes, this is an interesting space to explore, and that's where the seeds of upSAVE were sown. And as you mentioned, Anupam, that yes, a lot of people have been focusing on investments, but we thought that if there is no savings, then how will you really invest, right? So someone really needs to focus at the source. So if there is no source, then we have what to invest. So while we realize the importance of investments, we are focusing on how do we really put money in users' hand, which they can then go ahead and create investment. So that's where I come from, and then I'll ask Sudhir to tell us about that.
Yep. So good morning, everyone, and I hope everyone is doing well. And a big thank you to Anupam for having us. My name is Sudhir Joshi, founder of upSAVE, and prior to upSAVE, I worked in analytics and customer success domain for over about 14 years. So almost 10 months back, I was discussing my challenges, not able to save enough money because of my growing spends and, credit hungry behavior with Namit. And then Namit, being the guru of savings, that's what I call him, started explaining, what's the root cause. And that's when I really found it. That was a realization moment that there's a large population that need help with and some sort of motivation to save. So that was my reason to be part of the upSAVE.
Fantastic, guys. That's really fascinating. Now, let's get into this concept of savings. India, and we've got, we're among the largest countries in the entire world, has got this very, whether you call it peculiar or whether, as they say, it's a feature, not a bug. But we had a very high savings rate historically. Okay, maybe it's gone down the last 4 5 years. I think we probably in the mid 30s, and now we're probably at about 30% or maybe lower as a percentage of GDP. Our parents and their parents before them used to always praise the habit of savings a lot, which is probably why we've had that kind of high savings rate. So where do you think is the use case for your app? Do you guys think that there is a problem today because savings rate has gone down, or what's your view on this recent drop that we've had in savings so far as compared to the previous generation? Is there a trend change going on?
Right, Anupam. Yes. So you mentioned some of these data points yourself. So when we nailed down this problem of savings, we started looking at some of the savings and the net savings data which is available in the public domain. We looked at RBI data. We looked at some of the other data points which were available. And if you look at the last 10 years savings data, net savings data, then there has been a continuous decline. Even though relatively India has been a large savings focused nation, within the nation we are seeing a continuous declining trend, especially in the last decade or so. And that's where we started drilling a little bit deeper into why we think that this trend is really coming from. So we essentially nailed down 3 or 4 primary reasons we believe are pushing the net savings down over the last decade or so. The first one, which we see a lot happening, which was not really true for in our parents' time, and our parents were like trying to create savings, which is now coming up, is easy credit. If you look at it, there's a lot of easy credit which is now available for our youngsters. Our youngsters are living for experiences, and when they are going for experiences, they are finding very easy access to credit, and which is essentially luring them away from savings because there are so many startups which are coming credit space. There are banks, there are NBFCs which are like very eager to hand out or dole out these credits to the youngsters. So that we believe is the first primary reason why there is a decline in that trend, because there is easy credit to lap up. The second is we believe there is no banking neutral platform which is available today to our youngsters. Most of the platforms which are available today for our youngsters to do savings are all bank specific. So, for example, I might go to ICICI Bank, I might go to HDFC, and I might get access savings products which are specific to their customers. But if I am a customer who does not belong to a specific bank which has a specific savings scheme, I don't have access to that. So we started looking at what are the bank neutral platforms which can work with any kind of a financial service platform, which can work with any banking system or NBFC which a customer already has access to. And we, to our surprise, we realized it's almost none. There is no single platform which is like savings focus, which can tell the youngsters, come to us irrespective of what is your banking platform, where you get your salary or where you make your expenses, irrespective of what credit card you use. I can create savings for you, and I have like saving mechanisms for you. So that we believe is the second issue related to decline. The third we realized is the whole process of savings. When we were interviewing and talking to youngsters, was this whole process of planning for savings. So they were finding it very difficult to plan in terms of what is that right amount to save, when should I save, should I save in the beginning of the month, should I save in the middle of the month, or is it ending of the month the right time to save? So the whole process of planning was thought to be cumbersome. So that is what is coming out from our interviews and surveys which we have done in our target persona. And finally, the fourth one, which is also very important and surprising, is people really don't understand that financial independence, how important it is, and how getting financial independence early on in your life can help pursue your life dreams and can free up from your 9 to 5 jobs, and you can really start doing things which you really want to do in life, and to really get into financial independence, you need savings and the power of compounding, which savings bring in to really get to that financial independence phase. So this lack of awareness, we believe, is the fourth reason. So these are the four vectors which we believe has led to this whole decline in these savings around us.
And that's a really detailed answer, Namit. I like the point on financial freedom. It's a topic that we've covered here on the podcast as well. And it's great that you guys have, focused on how this could actually change things meaningfully for people, that if they save more, they can actually achieve financial freedom. And indeed, financial freedom is, who wouldn't like that? So let's move to the behavioral aspects now. We've defined the problem, given some answers out here also. What are the behavioral changes that have happened? Because I know that there is a big generation gap that's there. Maybe one generation prior to us would believe in, say, stuff like buying a house or believing in fixed assets and stuff like that, whereas people today are more flexible. They're very open to renting a house and not putting up that kind of capital commitment and taking a loan for such a long period of time. Of course, the flip side also is that this is now a country which has a very high level of consumer awareness as compared to the previous generation. Aspirations have changed. So how does that affect savings? What are the behavioral aspects that we're talking about here? Because nowadays it's no longer you can easily say that I want to buy the new iPhone, whereas our parents might say that spending 50,000 on a phone and then changing it every year. That's not. So let's walk through. Let's go through these behavioral aspects that impact our savings also.
Sure. Yeah, so that really, Anupam, is the core of what our solution offering is. We are, as you rightly said in the beginning, that we are a virtual assistant for savings habit, and habits comes from behaviors. So we are essentially addressing four different kind of saving behaviors which we see people exhibiting. The first one is spend before save. So what we are seeing today is that as you said, there is a latest phone launch, there is a latest release of a product, and there is a grab kind of a mentality which is there in our youngsters. So this we call as a spend before savings behavior, and this is what we are trying to invert. And what we are saying is that instead of a spend before savings, we want to move towards a save before spend kind of a behavior. So we are saying that the first thing which you should really think is save, and there is a personal finance tool which says 50-30-20, which says 50% of your spending should be needs, 30% should be wants, and 20% should be savings. So that is the first empirical rule of a savings behavior which we are trying to target by calling this behavior as a save before spend behavior. So that is the first one which we are trying to inculcate through our solution. The second one, which the behavior which we see is that there is a tendency in today's young generation, which is not to monitor the spend and not to pace your spending as you're going along in your month. And this is a behavior which at least from our research, we see our parents did it really well. They used to maintain notebooks. There were no computers then. There were no applications then. But they were still good in noting down everything. At least my father used to maintain a log of all the spends in a notebook, starting from the Dashera day till the next Dashera. So that used to happen in our day. But now I find I didn't do it for a long time myself in terms of identifying where I'm spending so that I can really classify those spends as my needs, as my wants. So a lot of youngsters, if you ask them today, they'll not even know how much they're spending on needs and how much they're spending on wants. So this we are calling as a save as you spend behavior, which we are saying is we are not necessarily saying that you need to cut down your spends, but what we are trying to say to our youngsters and our users is that while you are spending, you also need to save in parallel. So this behavior we call as save as you spend. The third behavior which we see is that any person today has a recurring expense. So you pay for your phone bills, you pay for your television bills, and we don't think twice about our recurring expenditures. Whenever the recurring expenditure comes out, we just pull out our wallet and we go ahead and make that recurring expenditure. But it's very surprising to note that same recurring behavior is not exhibited in saving. So we don't really think that saving should be a recurring behavior. We think that either we do it ad hoc or we don't do it at all, right? So that's the third thing which we are trying to say, that These recurrence concepts need to be there for savings as well. If it is there for expenses, why not bring it for savings as well? And finally, we do impulse purchases, right? We go to a shopping mall, we end up buying something which we didn't intend to buy. This is what we call as impulse spending. So we are again inverting that, and we are saying that you should save on demand, which is I feel like saving today, or I should feel like saving today. I should be able to save on impulse. So like I'm able to spend on impulse, I should also be able to save on impulse. So this is the fourth behavior which we are like trying to inculcate. So these are the four different behaviors we are trying to address and solve for through this solution.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Namit. We are going to take a small break, folks. So now we've explained this entire concept of savings. We've told you how we used to save a lot before. At least the previous generation used to save a lot. The savings rate itself has gone down, and Namit has also explained a lot of reasons why this has happened. We've also gone into the behavioral aspects of savings and how that has also fundamentally changed from generation to generation. So if your parents, used to save in a certain way, we or you guys, because I am also pretty old, save in a very different way. So now that we've walked you through these things, let's now talk about the app upSAVE, and we're going to talk about all of that because upSAVE has a lot of nice features which are addressed to make your savings process really good. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the savings special with upSAVE. My guest, Namit Agrawal, mentor and advisor at upSAVE, and Sudhir Joshi, founder. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I want to thank Intel for supporting our show. Do you remember when last year we spoke about how the Intel vPro platform is built for business? Well, I'm glad to say we've kicked things up a notch. That's right, Intel is back with a new and improved version of the platform. Optimized with 10th generation Intel Core processors, the platform is just what IT and business users need, especially in times like now when most of us are working from home. The new Intel vPro platform lets you do more of what you want and less of what you don't. So it's better for you and for your IT teams, who really are the backbone of keeping your work from home experience easy and enjoyable. The platform is built to minimize your efforts and maximize your PC productivity, especially when working from home. I can safely say that the new vPro platform gives you more enterprise efficiency with less constraints. Visit intel.in/more with vPro, that's VPRO, to discover how you can get more done with less waiting. If you're listening on the IVM Podcast Android app, take a look at the screen right now and you'll see a link which will take you directly there.
Folks, welcome back to the second part of this episode, the savings special with upSAVE. My guest, Sudhir Joshi, founder and Namit Agrawal, mentor and advisor at upSAVE. In the first part of this episode, we spoke a lot about the concept of savings, how it has changed, how it has dropped, behavioral aspects also that affect our thinking towards saving. In this part, we're going to talk about the app upSAVE, which, by the way, it was actually launched during the lockdown, which is fantastic. So now Sudhir and Namit are going to walk us through their app, right? So Sudhir, let's start with this. Let's first talk about your app. I had a look at it yesterday. So can you just walk us through it as to what is the onboarding process like? What kind of permissions do I have to give? How do I link it with, I don't know, my bank account, my credit card? So just walk our listeners through the process for the app.
Sure, Anupam. So the idea of upSAVE is basically generate savings triggered by your spend behavior and your monthly inflow. And the whole idea of shifting that behavior was not easy to sort of incorporate in an app, but we tried our best. So so in order to be able to understand your spend behavior, we are right now reading only your digital spend. That's it, and your financial transactions. So we know how much you've spent and where are you spending. And right now, our app, and to shift that behavior, we have only allowed, or right now we are only offering our users to be able to keep the saved money away from their spending account. And the spending account is essentially an account which is your salary account, right? Wherever you spend from. And our idea is to move that money using upSAVE to a secondary account. And that secondary account could be your own account or your a kid's account or a parent's account, where you want to keep it away from easily accessible. We do this by UPI app or with using a UPI ID. So we don't need any bank details. We just want you to put the UPI ID of your secondary account, what we call is a true save account, where your true savings are being generated. So once you are on our app, you simply come to, you would see a home page where you would see a couple of boosters. Each booster is mapped to a savings behavior that Namit was just talking about. So you will, as per your like, you will turn on, you enable one of those boosters. You would then set up your target account, or the true save account, by giving the UPI ID of where you want to move that money. Our boosters will run in the background and analyzing the spend behavior, and would give you a notification every day or every week, depending on your preference, to move that money from your spending account to your true save account using your own favorite UPI app, keeping it safe and in its instant.
Great. So there are a few features which are very specific to your app, Namit, and I like the fact that they are aimed at some of the behavioral aspects that we spoke about in the previous part of the show. So can you walk our listeners through these really nifty features that you have that that maybe unknowingly help me to save more? It reminds me a lot of the nudge concept in behavioral finance. Let's walk through that.
So I think I'll probably go back to the basics of our app. Is while almost all apps offering investment option, we believe the first step in the journey is have some savings to be able to invest. So we try to, with these boosters, we try to solve our some of the nifty features that we try to offer using our app is micro savings. So I guess one of the myth is our savings has to be a big amount, like 5K, 10K in terms of RD or SIP, and I think we wanted to break that myth by giving a micro savings platform, right? So since these boosters allow you to save based on how much you spend, you end up saving really small money every day or every a week, and you would see the accumulation over the end of month, that it's essentially a micro savings becoming a macro, right? So that's the whole idea of this app. So the other feature we call, and you keep hearing this booster term, is essentially the booster starts to boost your savings. So we generate a virtual saving based on your spend and savings behavior. For example, one of our booster is every time you receive a credit in your spending account, save even before you spend it. So this boosters, just analyze your credits in your account, and then based on how much you have set up as a percentage of how much you want to save from that credit amount, it will move that money to your true save account using UPI. And the other example is, if you had every time you eat out or had a drinks or a movie night with your friends, why don't you tip yourself by saving some amount from the spend you have done on those avoidable expenses? We call it upsave on guilt spend. And that's coming very soon. There are a few things as upsave might change, right? So every time you do a transaction, you pay for your to your grocery wala for 120 rupees, we will round off that amount to nearest 50, and we will save the difference using these boosters and let you transfer this money again into your true save account. When Namit said, it's perceived to be cumbersome, boring, I think that the next generation doesn't even like that. So we wanted to make it fun and engaging, and that's our another feature is have some social challenges, have a social savings, right? Call your friends, try to save as much as you could, and we give you a savers of the month reward, and you win the quiz and there is a reward. And as I speak of reward, that's another feature that we want to bring in is we have almost all website offering 10% cashback when you use a credit card. But when you try to save, there's just 3.5% interest rate that you earn. So we want to reward that savings behavior. Once you demonstrate a good savings behavior by following the notifications that upSAVE sends and transfer your money and save your money, there's a cash reward for that. Last but not the least is security is paramount when it comes to finance. So all transactions you do are driven by UPI app. In fact, your favorite UPI app. and they are completely safe, and your money is in your control. So you will always have, control over your money. You know what's going on with your money and how that money is being transferred using UPI apps. So those are some of the features that right now we have. We're bringing in more, challenges and more uh, fun and engaging way to be able to motivate people to save money. Over to you, Anupam.
Yeah, great. It's a very logical question, because the phrase goes savings and investment. So I'm guessing that you guys would also be going into that at some point of time, because there are already so many apps out there on how to choose mutual funds and stuff like that. Is that in the pipeline? Because you've helped, if I'm a user, you've helped me save, and if I'm in your ecosystem, then I would also expect you to help me invest. So any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So I think our tagline says, you save, you grow, and then you celebrate. So we want you to save money using these boosters, and then we want to have more true save accounts and more version of true save account where you do your true savings in form of NPS, in form of mutual funds, in form of e-gold, in form of other conservative savings instrument that we have. And so we want to cater to our audience in a way where if someone is a risk taking, they have a mutual fund as an option. If someone is a conservative saver, we have a PPS and MPS. So those are some of the investment instrument we'll be looking to host very soon. Glad to share that mutual fund is coming very soon out there on our app.
Good to hear that, yeah? And I wish you guys all the very best. Your app was open on 6th May, right?
Yes.
So it's been what? It's been just about less than 3 weeks. So I hope to have guys back to tell us trends, because I would love to know what your users are doing, what the users are saving, what are the trends that you see, because this would be really exciting to track. If people, for example, are using your upSAVE at first option, or they're using get set upSAVE or stuff like that, that would be really helpful for us. And talking about the future, let's wind up this recording on what lies ahead. You guys are live on the Google Play Store, I believe. I guess, and iOS has also, should also be due. And there's also the fact that as of now, I don't think you guys are charging anything for this service. So let's just wrap up on your future plans. Where do you guys go from here?
Sure. Sudhir already talked about the mutual fund, so that's the next logical step for us to complete the journey with a liquid mutual fund. So just one difference which I'll call out is that we are not really a mutual fund distributor. We are essentially providing mutual funds to complete the investment journey. So that's the difference. So we are gonna be providing a few select, curated, handpicked, safe mutual funds, relatively safer mutual funds. So that is the next immediate step. The second one is that we'll be launching many more engagement options. As Sudhir said, finance is perceived to be boring, and that's where we are working on a lot of challenges, savings challenges as we call them. We already have one live in our app, which is a 12-week challenge. We are working on a 7-day challenge, and then we have a Saver of the Month contest coming up. And likewise, we hope to introduce one contest every couple of weeks going forward. We are also looking for a banking partnership. We are actively working with a couple of banks for kind of an auto sweep kind of a facility. So for conservative customers who don't want to invest in mutual funds, we'll be providing an auto sweep. So as soon as your money moves into TrueSave, it can get auto swept into FD kind of an arrangement. And lastly, we are also looking at a lot of social savings concepts. So you can save as a husband, wife. You can save as a family. You can save as a group of students. You can team up and save towards the common goal. And talking of goal by itself is a feature which is going to be extended in our future releases, in which we are going to have different kind of goals, amounts for goals, and you can map your different saving boosters or saving behaviors to goals, and then you can track them to completion. So a lot of exciting stuff. I also want to just quickly talk about our presence. So we are available on upSAVE.in, which is our website. We have presence on all the social media platforms. So we are on Twitter, we are on Insta, we are on Facebook, and our email ID is contact@upsave.in. So we would like, as Anupam, you said, 3 weeks into the launch. So we are expecting a lot of feedback to come in, and we like to encourage a lot of feedback. And by sending us feedback, you can become early advocates of upSAVE and kind of almost participate in the product development process itself. So we would like to invite all of you to try and send us as much feedback as you can.
Fantastic, guys. I wish you all the very best. Sorry, go on. Yeah, Sudhir, go on.
So, and to our users, we want to have a sign-up bonus. As when you're signing up from a Play Store, download the app, sign up using a code called P as in parrot, V as in vector, 2020 to get a sign-up bonus. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. So, listeners, there you go. That's fantastic. The code is PV2020. I'm guessing P is for Paisa and V is for Vaisa. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that. Folks, the app is upSAVE. It's out on the Google Play Store. Check it out. You can download it and give it a try. Like Sudhir just said, the code is PV2020. You want to use it as a bonus to get started. upSAVE is on all social media, so if you guys use it, you have any feedback, do reach out to them, and any feedback and issues can also be passed on to contact at upsave.in. Folks, that is a wrap on this episode. The Saving Special with upSAVE. My guest, Sudhir Joshi, founder, and Namit Agrawal, mentor and advisor to upSAVE, a brand new app that was launched on 3rd May. And upSAVE is a virtual assistant for building savings habit. Guys, Sudhir, Namit, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Anupam.
Thank you, Anupam.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, thank you.
And listeners, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. I'm your host, Anupam Gupta, P50 on Twitter, and that is a wrap on the show. Thank you.
No material on the show should be considered as financial advice. The material on the show is for informational purposes only. Please consult a financial advisor before taking any investment decision.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. Really, really fun week, and I think that you guys should definitely check out some of the stuff we did. So we had Shifa Mehta, who is the host of the show Smile India, on the Paperback Podcast. Really fun thing. On Edges and Sledges, our hosts had an episode just amongst themselves. No guests this time. Really fun show with lots of cool banter. I think you'll enjoy that quite a bit. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet had Shrishti Bell on. Shrishti is the head of Netflix in India, and I think you'll really enjoy that conversation as well. Also, do check out Uncle Please Sit. Joel and Tushar had Anuya Chatakar on. Anuya hosts the popular YouTube channel Books on Toast. And don't forget others of your old favorites like The Habit Coach, Football Should Ball, All Things Policy. All of them are doing a great job during this pandemic, and you should definitely check them out. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Look! Up in the internet! It's a meme! No! It's a cat video! No! It's the Geek Fruit Podcast!
That's right, we interrupt this riveting broadcast to tell you about our show, the Geek Fruit Podcast, where Tejas, Dinkar, and I, Jishnu, talk about everything in pop culture, including DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Netflix, and everything in between.
You know how your friends hate it when you ramble about some nerdy crap and you just want somebody to listen to you? Well, sorry, there's nothing we can do about that, but come listen to us ramble and it'll almost be like the real thing. Kind of.
Listen to new episodes of the Geek Fruit Podcast every Monday and the Geek Fruit Bulletin every Thursday on iTunes, Google Podcasts, the IVM app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy listening, you nerds.
Do you wish you were smarter? Well, so do we. But the next best thing?
We could make you sound smarter.
And to help you with this endeavor, we are Simplified, a podcast that attempts to break down the complex world around you with a little knowledge, a lot of poor jokes, and a ton of random trivia.
Episodes out every Monday
on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
See ya!